Well, hello everybody. I just graduated from university with a computer science degree, and it's the holidays right now, so I was sitting thinking about what I could do to pass the time, and I thought I would create a video series of everything that I've learned in university. Uh, Only specifically to the computer science major, because there's a bunch of general education that you have to do, like life science tracks and writing courses that aren't necessarily relevant specifically to computer science. So I thought I would just go over those basic things. And we're going to start from scratch. This here is a Linux operating system. Specifically, it's Manjaro, running on a i3 Windows manager. It's a tiling window manager, so if I make more of the terminal instances, you'll see that it tiles. And I'm thinking about switching this up because I don't like how it tiles like this. So there are different tiling schemes of how it opens new windows, but it tries to maximize the layout of all these windows. So this is not Windows, but anything I tell you will be relevant to Windows, and you can do it on Windows. I have a Windows 10 box a computer that I can show you these things on, but for a majority of what we're doing, it's just going to be editing text and running that text as a program. So this here is a terminal emulator. It's not a terminal, it's a terminal emulator. And if you want to find out what the name of your terminal emulator is, you just type the echo command. And these commands are in a language that the shell can understand. So the shell is the collection of programs that runs on your computer in the terminal emulator. Like echo is a command. And I guess before you do anything, you need to know what command you have, or what does a command do. So those things you can find with a specific command called man. Man will tell you what manual page do you want. So this is the manual for your scripting language, which is Bash or Zish, your shell language. And it says try man, and it'll tell you what manual is. The manual is an interface to the system reference manuals. Okay, so if you can see at the bottom here, just press Q to quit. I know some of these things are like difficult to do if you haven't had any experience with these things, so I'm trying to be considerate of that. So we can do man echo, because it'll tell you what it does. Displays a line of text. That's literally all it does. And you can scroll down with the up and down character, the mouse wheel, if your terminal supports that. We can get into specifics about terminal emulators if anybody cares to have that discussion. I'd be happy to discuss it. But again, echo just displays characters, text, displays text. So if you say echo hello, it will say hello. So, and again, what if you don't know what command you're looking for? Well, there's a specific command that parses all the commands, and that's called Apropos. And there's other ways of doing this. There's other ways for searching for commands, but Apropos is built into Linux. So, and you get this completion if you're using Zish, which is a type of shell. And usually your system comes with the default shell, which is SH, and it comes with bash, and it comes with, I think, fish maybe, or CSH. Anyway, you can change your shells with is it CHSH? Yeah, and then it'll ask you, so if you man CHSH change shell, you can get a list shells. So tac L will list shells. I say tac, it's a nautical thing. I say tac for hyphen, but it's just hyphen. So if you say CHSH tac L, it'll tell you what shells you have installed. And this is important if you're trying to do certain syntactic things. The way you would write programming for your shell, it's written in a specific way, and it's a little different, and some commands aren't supported, or some other things are different. One instance is which. So the which command is different on bash, zish. I don't know about the default shell, but C shell and maybe fish. But they're all aliases to look, I believe. So if you man look, displays the lines beginning with, oh wait, no, it's not look. I think it's where. Which, where, whence. It all came from whence. Whence was the original command in the POSIX compliant standard, but every shell has a different instance. So the only thing to take from that is that some things are different in different shells. So you just have to know what shell you're in, and you can find that by typing echo, as I was getting to, $, and then all uppercase shell. And that'll tell you I'm in Z shell. If you go to bash, usually I think Mac has just recently switched their default shell to Zish. I know I'm kind of on all platforms, all the major platforms. I dabble on all of them, so if you have any questions, I can probably point you in the right direction at least. But if you do, again, echo shell, it'll tell you. Oh wait, this is my environment. So this is loading a environment variable called shell. It's the same for home. It's not going to change just because I've switched to bash. So home, which is your home directory, where you are when you open your terminal emulator. That's the default file and directory are interchangeable. We only use the term file because of graphical file managers, or folders. Folders. They're called folders in a graphical sense, but they're directories. And you can check what directory you're in with pwd, which is an abbreviation for print working directory. If I change my directory, cd, into my desktop, and I'll show you how to look at what directories exist in your current directory. So now I'm in desktop, and now if you do print working directory in here, it'll say now you're in home, your username is the second piece, and then desktop. If you want to go back to your home directory, it's really easy. You just type cd and nothing else and hit enter. It'll take you directly to your home directory. Okay, I'm going to exit. Exit closes your terminal emulator. If you're not in, or it closes your shell. So if you man exit, it shows you what it'll do, cause the shell to exit. But since I started bash inzish, if I exit, I close bash, and now I'm back into zish. You can tell because there's different prompts that this is a bash prompt, this is my zish prompt. They're just different. They load different configuration files that have different prompts in them, and I haven't bothered to set them all up. Even SH has its own prompt. Usually you'll see a $sign. That's a very common prompt to see. Also, these 3 caret things are common to see. And your username and machine name or host name are a common configuration to see in a prompt. So if you see these things, they're just prompts. They're telling you I can accept commands. You can do an echo command and say hello. And that's how a lot of people get really creative with their prompts. Sometimes they'll have the completion time, how long it took to run a command, which you can do with the time command. If you just prepend any command, which put at the beginning, any command, time, it'll tell you how long it took for the system to run it, and echo happens insanely fast, so it's not even going to show you. So this is minutes, seconds, and milliseconds. Again, I'm going to exit SH. So I plan to keep these videos at around 10 minutes, and I do not know, I can't see. I will stop here and just go over again what we have gone over. So a terminal is just this. If you're in Windows, you can type cmd.exe into your run, so that's window and R. Window R will run, open the run prompt, and then you just type cmd.exe or even cmd. This will open the Windows version of a terminal, which I usually refer to as the command prompt, whereas I refer to a POSIX system as a command line. That's just my way of denoting those things, but the terminology is interchangeable in jargon, but it's the CMD prompt. And you can do similar things, but not exactly these things. So if you want, I didn't tell you how to see the directories and files. So that's just list, ls, list, shows you your directory and files that aren't hidden. So that's how that works. But if you want to do that on Windows, you would type dir. I have a mapping that makes it do a similar thing. It won't look exactly like this, but you'll get your files and directories. Dir actually looks more like ls-tac-l. So this is list long, and it'll show some additional information. This is closer to what you'll see on Windows. Maybe even LSA. Again, these flags come from, okay, that shows all my hidden files. Not that they're secret, they're just not like things that a normal person messes with frequently enough to want to see them all the time. Like my configuration for Xorg, which is the display manager, the thing that actually handles rendering the graphical display of this. And even if you're on a very minimal Linux that only shows like really basically nothing, except even this has to be configured, you still need something that organizes those things, and that's what Xorg is. You can do, if you're on Linux, you can do man Xorg, and you can see how Xorg works and read about it. Anyway, and flags. Let's do one more thing. So man ls. Say you want to know what these flags do, these little switches. So you see TAC A, do not ignore entries starting with a decimal or a period. So that's all the hidden files start with a decimal. And this one says, do that same thing, but ignore the current directory and the parent directory. That's what just a decimal and 2 decimals or periods represent. And you can see those here. These two. This is a file pointer that points to the address where this directory starts. Okay, and then this tells you, well, if you go up a directory, this is where that parent directory is. In this case, that was home, because remember I said print working directory. So this is our current folder, if you want to think of it as the folder. This is a users folder, and then there's a home folder above that. Now home is just a collection of the users of the system. You'll see the same thing on Windows, except it's in users. If you do a CD to users, and C is the same, you'll see that there are users, or all the users of the system are listed here. I actually can mount that drive, my Windows drive, to my current file system, but I'll leave that for another video. Already there's a lot of things that are going on here, and you can see that it's really complicated, and I hope this brings some kind of appreciation to exactly how difficult all this stuff is. So please be kind to tech people, because like they already have so much junk in their head that they can barely remember their own name. So a recap of what we talked about is man, and we didn't run Apropos, but I'll do that in the next video. So there's man. I can't even spell Apropos. Okay. Apropos man echo list print working directory change directory. So we've only talked about these 5 commands, or 6, or these 5 on the latter half, and then apropos we haven't talked about but I've mentioned. Apropos is for looking for commands that you don't know the name of, and then man shows you what that command can do. ls lists the current working directory, or the contents of the current working directory, and there are a bunch. People usually use commands like ls with a bunch of flags because they're looking for something specific. They probably know what the contents of the directory they're in are. They're wanting it to be filtered or displayed in a certain way. And we'll talk more about ls and all these commands a little more in depth as we go along. But print working directory gets you the current directory, change directory, echo just prints what you give it to the terminal. And I think that'll do for this video, and be sure to join me on my next one when I further explain how we actually get to programming on a computer. And thank you. Have a nice day.